Two things today that made me wonder how naive we are. The Defence Minister is worried that some of our Air Force pilots may have trained pilots of the Chinese communist dictatorship, and just when its dictator has told his military to prepare for war.
There were reports that China had approached former Australian defence personnel to provide training to Chinese. The task force that I've described is investigating a number of cases.
But it's not just our soldiers and spies, of course, that are a target for China. Our scientists have been too, and we've actually seen some of our universities here actually have their researchers working with Chinese scientists linked to the Chinese military until the Morrison government stepped in. But the Chinese dictatorship also co-opts Chinese expatriates here, even threatens some of them too to cooperate, Chinese students as well. But it does one more thing. And an acquaintance in China alerted me to this. He was so shocked to see it on Chinese TV. The regime is also asking Australian academics to help paint Australia as evil. And I can see why it might want to do that. Because after all, if China is going to go to war, it's pretty good that its people think they're fighting something really nasty. Now, I've shown you before an example of this, but here's another. Chinese state television has now interviewed Dr. Hannah McGlade. Now, McGlade is a radical race activist from Curtin University's law school. And she went on Chinese state television to damn Australia as a nation of racists. Apparently, even our anti-racists are racists.
Non-Indigenous people are still acting in a very oppressive way, including through institutions, including through the legal bodies that are established to address racism.
Okay, that's bad enough. But then came this outrageous accusation that racists here go around killing Aboriginal children and nothing is done about them.
And racism has bubbled away. Racist violence and even killing of Aboriginal children and youth has happened. Perpetrators haven't been held to account.
That is utterly and wickedly false. For a start, most reports I see of Aboriginal children murdered involve killers who are not white themselves, and racism isn't what's driving them. But to Communist China's media, stories like this are brilliant. Look, the police aren't even investigating Aboriginal children being murdered by racists. Here's an Australian absolutely smearing us while saying nothing, of course, about this dictatorship's far worse sins. But the worse we seem here in Australia, the better for China. Shame on academics who give this dictatorship the propaganda it wants.